Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Erad. Welcome to the channel. Today we are talking about Star Citizen. In fact, I am in Star Citizen right now, and I want to talk about ships today. Talk about ships because we do have some older ships in the verse right now. See, people are talking about the Karak. We'll talk about the Karak. See that in the chat over there? Well, there are some older ships in the verse right now, and I think that we could take some inspiration from Elite Dangerous. I know, right? Some people are gonna say, "Oh, he's gonna talk about Elite Dangerous again." Yes, a little bit, because Elite Dangerous, I think, is doing something really smart. This year, they are going to release an updated ship. But they're not going to update the old one. Instead, they are going to release that updated ship as a new one in the form of the Python Mk2. And I think that this is a brilliant move here that I wish Star Citizen had done in the past with some of the ships that they had reworked. I'm thinking, for example, of the 300 series from Origin. Well, we might have some of those reworks coming up really soon. And so in this video, I want to talk about 5 ships that I hope can be reworked and have a second version in the game. So, the first ship that I think is going to be making it into the list today is the Hornet. The Hornet is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, ship in Star Citizen. In fact, it was even there into the very first introduction of Star Citizen back in 2012. Maybe you guys remember that cinematic. Of course, this was not the game asset, it was a demo asset, but nevertheless, that design has remained the same. And suffice to say that this is a ship that not a lot of people are playing with. People are playing with the Hornet Ghost because it's actually very good at stealth, and stealth right now is getting some sort of resurgence, especially in the PvP community. But apart from that, this is not really a ship that you see a lot, and it has a couple of flaws, mainly when it comes to its ordinances, not a lot of missiles in my opinion. When it's going to also have armor in mind as well in the future, when armor is actually going to play a bigger role here. And this overall design is quite outdated, and it does feel outdated compared to other ships that we have that are sleeker, that are a bit more elegant, and that also are a little bit more aerodynamic. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get to see very soon, in fact there are rumors talking about that, about a Hornet Mark II, a second generation of Hornet that is going to perhaps look a little bit more modern compared to what we have right here. So, the next ship that I believe needs a new version is the Aurora. Now, don't get me wrong, I personally love this ship very much. I think it's got a really interesting and unique design in Star Citizen. It's basically a flying brick, but it could have a little bit better here. The struts here in the front, I think that sometimes they obstruct the visibility a little bit too much. I like the strut, but maybe we could have something, not as thick as what we have here. This is, again, an older design in Star Citizen when struts were all the rage, but since then the developers have realized that maybe they went a little bit too crazy with those struts. Now, I think that the struts are still an iconic design of the Aurora. They need to stay, but yeah, maybe thinner, or maybe they can do like what they did with the Scorpion, which are struts of glass. So they're still struts, but you don't see them, like invisible, and that's also something that they could be looking at here. The entrance, interesting here. The entrance kind of looks like the entrance, the same door of a Constellation, same design as the Constellation. But it's kind of problematic. It's a little bit clunky here. So I think that they need to have an entrance that's slightly bigger and slightly easier to have access with. Especially the problem with the entrance is if you have party members who want to get into your ship for some reason, well, they can't do that. It just doesn't work. Another thing that they could do here is, I don't know if you see those metal panels here on the side. I think it would be awesome if those metal panels could just open, and it would be like a mini Scorpius, and this would bring this this little ship here much popularity that it needs, because right now, well, it's not really a ship that you see players fly because it's just not cool, right? It's just a flying brick. People would rather fly anything else than this, including, Mustangs or even the Titans. But, you open those wings here with that little Aurora, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to have this cool factor that it's currently lacking. Okay, this one here, the next one, is a ship that I really like, and I wish that CIG could give it a little bit more love. We saw a little bit of that footage in Inside Star Citizen when they talk about master modes, and that's great, but I do believe that it still needs some extra rework, unfortunately. Now, before we move on, guys, please check out over there my referral code, yes, up here. If you are new to Star Citizen and you are interested in getting the game, use this code when you are getting the game, and you can get 5,000 credits, which is very helpful to get started, can get you some armor, some ammo, and it also helps the content creator that you are selecting. Now, back to this ship here. This is the pocket, not really the pocket bomber, but the small bomber here from the Anvil lineup. You can see it has some small torpedoes here. Now, this is a ship that's good against not really capital ships, but maybe ships like Constellations, for example, or Retaliators. This is the ship that's going to be taking down gunships, but not capital ships. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a lot of weapons, and this is where maybe it could use a rework here, because it's not powerful enough for its role, in my opinion. It only has 2 guns that you can see here under the wings that the pilot has access to, and also 2 guns that a gunner has access to in the co-pilot seat right here. And the torpedoes are only size 3, so unfortunately, those size 3 torpedoes, I said, do not make much damage. Now, it's classified as a bomber, but unfortunately, once again, it does not have enough bomb, it doesn't have any bombs at all. So, oh, we got top size 5, actually, says working. My bad, they're actually size 5 torpedoes. Thank you so much, working, for rectifying good old E right here. So, what I think this ship needs here is a couple of bombs that we could place also under the wings right here, because we do have now the bombing mechanics that, for example, the Crusader A1 has and the Crusader A2 has, but those smaller bombs, they are pretty good at destroying local ground positions. Say there's like a cluster of ground forces at Jumpdown, for example. You drop a couple of bombs and it's just going to be killing the players and the assets that are going to be in that small area instead of the entire region like what the A2 would be. So that's where I believe this ship here could be more useful and could also be more popular with players, and that's the kind of rework here that I would like Gladiator Games to do with the Anvil Gladiator. Alright, the next ship that we're going to talk about here is the Mercury Star. Now, usually every time I make a video about, possible reworks, ships that do need a little love here, I always talk about the Mercury Star. One of the biggest drawbacks about the MSR is it only has 1 entrance at the back. I think it would be phenomenal here if the MSR could have 1 entrance here, maybe 1 ladder that could bring us straight into the hangar. It would save us a lot of time. Now, we're going to go back into the interior of the MSR because I think that it needs also a little bit of rework in there as well. And here, what I really do not like about the MSR is this. I think that this elevator here is quite useless. I don't understand why it's here. And I think that we could be replacing that elevator with just, some stairs. And it's super annoying because every time we either have to use it, so I'm going to go here up, or gonna have to go down right here. But it's actually, as Working says in the chat, it is a waste of space here. And you can just do that. You can just climb like that, open the door, or you can just go out and leave like this. It's absolutely useless, a waste of space, as it says here, and we could just do with a regular small staircase that would be much smaller like that, and would get us in the inside. That's basically all I had to say here about the interior of the MSR so far, and I think that it's going to make it much more practical and also perhaps even more popular if the devs make the effort to make this small change. And the last ship on our list today is, yes, this beast here. It is the Karak. Now, why do I think the Karak needs a little rework here? This is something that we have experienced when we all played those high-tier bounty hunting missions with all that juicy loot that was inside those ships here, including the Karak. Now, there is one problem with the Karak, is that you cannot loot the cargo containers because they are inside, and when this ship here is in soft death mode, well, it just cannot open the cargo containers. We're just going to be under them right here. and for some reason there is no opening mechanism here. So that means that when this ship is destroyed, when that ship is wrecked here or in soft death mode, the cargo that is inside is wasted, and that is a hugely missed opportunity for any pirate here who just wants to get some cargo. Well, they're not gonna get the cargo of the Karak, unfortunately. Sure, that's great if you are a transporter and you have this ship. You know that maybe pirates will destroy you, but they're not gonna be able to get most of your cargo. But I think that's still very unfortunate and quite immersion and game breaking in my opinion. And I think that CIG need to be doing something about that. Anyway, guys, this was my list here for ships that do need a rework or maybe a new version. Of course, we could be talking about the Retaliator, which is going to have its gold version. So this one, we are already aware of it. The Retaliator going the gold standard version, which the developers talk about regularly in the monthly reports. I think the Starfarer also needs a little love as well. The Starfarer, which has an interior that looks like an FPS level, and of course the Reclaimer, which still often kills its owners and its staff aboard. But that's also another topic for another day. If you have any other shit that you would like to see reworked by CIG, let me know in the comment section down below. That is all for this. That is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. A big shout out to my Patreon and YouTube members, including Dr. Forbid, Zero Crusher, Deplorable, Fidel, and Ducky2Ducker. We've got the giveaway this month. We're giving away a Vanguard Warden. All you have to do is to become a Patreon or YouTube member, or simply join via our video sharing contest. I've been Irad, and I'll see you guys in the next one.